right, hey guys, I'm here with Inon, composer of what all of your favorite games. Can you give us a rundown?
Some of them.
Some of them. There's been so many of them.
Yeah. Well, recently, I mean, we're talking about the few years. We're talking about Crisis, Fallout 3, Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age Exodus, the Prince of Persia series, Fallout New Vegas, and the new Lord of the Rings, War in the North, and some others. Well, it all begins with the notion of you understanding that you are part of a process, you're part of a team, and you're part of a whole experience that is being created together with the developer. It's not like you're writing a music, period.
Right.
You're writing music for something, with something, and it's being created within this whole game. So to begin with, you have to understand what the game is all about. You have to understand all the emotions, all the dramatic elements.
So do you get like a game Bible, or do you get to play through the game beforehand?
Well, usually when I'm being brought to the picture, there's almost nothing to play yet. There's a little bit, but not enough. But what I can get is the story. And what I can get is what the emotions that the developer has, what's the vision about what the developers and the producer want you as a player to feel when you play the game. And that's the most important issue that I'm going to be dealing throughout my composition. When we worked on Dragon Age 2 or Exodus, we knew that at some point we're going to get to Kirkland. And Kirkland, I asked the producer, well, what is Kirkland? And he said, well, you know what? Imagine something like a harbor city in Turkey, and try to come out from that. Mm-hmm. And I almost thought about creating something that is even more Middle Eastern, but after that I took it a step back. So I sort of like wrote a Dragon Age-ish music, but also entertained with some other Middle Eastern instruments like duduk, like bouzouki, or other instruments that you could find in Turkey.
War in the North is your next big game that's just about to come out. Can you talk about the development process for that, and how do you, in a game like this, where there is a pre-existing intellectual property and they are tying it in, at least with the ad campaigns with the movies, how do you walk the line between drawing inspiration from the pre-existing music and being free to compose what you want to do?
This is a really good question, because we have dealt with this, and obviously Howard Shore's score standing out, and it's a great score, and in fact they did want to use it, or parts of it, for the games, but the problem was that you could not make this music interactive as great as it is, and that's why I was brought to the picture. So how do you create music that it definitely belongs to the Lord of the Rings realm, but something that not going to be what the movie has, because it's a different product, B, will serve all the needs of the game, and C, still will remind you enough of what you have there.
That's no problem. You can juggle all those balls at once, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, no problems. Well, it starts from, again, the instrumentations and the colors that you're choosing. And obviously in this game I've chosen even darker colors than what Shore is using, because the game obviously is darker. When we get to themes, the themes that I've actually or going for were a little bit more aggressive. The score is more aggressive. It's less, huge and slow. It's more like energetic. And so that's how it's also differing. However, the whole atmospheric elements that I'm using are very, very, very reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings. So that's how I made the tie. In order to become a composer in any type of composer, but even more for computer games, you have to know music. You have to really, really be able to be flexible. You need to know styles and how to write in a classical styles and film score this way, film score this way. I mean, modern, electronic, symphonic. I mean, each one of us composers has his own forte. However, you know, you have to be able to use all these languages when you're composing, because games are so huge now and so complex. So let's say that you know, in games like Fallout, New Vegas, there are some parts that I used only string quartet in a very classical way. Then in other places I used like twangy style, like Old West. Other style I totally use like electronic dungeon, you know, style. You have to, in order to really be up there, you have to know very, very well all these styles.
So what's up next?
Ooh. Let me think about it.
Secrets, the game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, of course, you know, A Lord of the Rings is coming. I am working right now on 4 new titles that I cannot really talk about it, but it's gonna be exciting when you'll hear about them.
All right.
Plus, I'm working on some expansions and DLC for existing titles.